tutorial. Into this tutorial, we'll be building another project in C++. This project is called the banking record system. Now, this project has the following capabilities or functionalities with the you add the record, you show the record, search the record, update record, delete record. Now, let me show you. Maybe let's first show the record. We have one record here. You can see you have only one record there. Now let's delete the record. Number 5, let's delete the record. There are one record in the file. Enter the record number. You need to enter the record number, which is, you saw there was one record. So if you delete record 1 successfully deleted. Now let's again show the record. Now you can see no records found. If you try to update the record, maybe option, let's search the record. See, file is empty, therefore you cannot search. Let's go to update the record, option 4. Now no record to edit, file is empty. Let's delete the record. You see no record to delete, file is empty. Now let's add the record again. Maybe just enter any number, then the name, say Ciano again. My last name, account balance, let's say it's 3.5. There we go. Now let's show the record. There you can see we have the first so we have this record here. Now let's add another record. Let's see. Let's add another record. Another record, account number, just any 9 numbers, then first name, so it's what am I doing? Okay, name, it's any name, John. Now the balance, let's say it's this much. Now let's show the records again. Now you can see you have 2 records. You have the first one and the second one. Now, in order to delete this second, let's say you want to delete this record here. Now, all you need to do, you go to your option there. Maybe you want to update. Let's first edit the record. Let's first to show. Now there are 2 records. You know that the record that you want to edit, it's record number 2. So let's enter 2 here. Now you can see the record is shown here. Say you wanted to edit maybe the amount here. In fact, we just have to enter the same details here. Maybe 73728, the same account number. Maybe the name is still the same. Maybe and change the amount now to 1.5. There we go. See, now let's go to show. Let's just show the data now. You see the second record is updated. Now the amount is changed to 1.5. Now if we want to delete the record, you go to option 5 and select, maybe let's delete the second one. Now the record 2 successfully deleted. Now let's show the records again. Only have 1 record left. So today we'll be building this project from scratch. So yeah, let's get started. So now we have this source code here, which I'm going to explain starting from the top. Now, before I do that, let me briefly explain the features of this program. Mainly, I'll be describing the functionalities here, those functionalities about this program. Now, this program here has the following features, which is the add record. Now, for this feature, void read data function has been used to add banking record into the file. It asks information such as account number, first name, last name, and total balance to be entered by the user. We have show data with the information provided in add record. The void show data function in this banking record system show the account number, first name, last name, the current balance of the account holder is also displayed. Now we have the search record. Now the search record, when the function for this when the function for this feature is first executed, now that is when we first execute the search record, it shows the total records in the file, and the user can then search by the record number. If the record search if the record that the user is searching for is not found, the beginning record, that is this project, will display an error message, that is the error in opening the file not found. Another feature here is the edit record. This works in a similar manner as the search feature. When the function for edit record is first executed, it shows the total record in the file, and the user can edit the information by providing the record number. Then this program shows all the data in the record, and the user can enter any data to modify. If the record to be entered is not found, the error message will be printed to the screen. That is the error in opening the file not found. That is whenever the file does not exist. Now we have another feature, which is the delete record. Now, first, when the function when this delete record is first executed, it shows the records in the file, and the user can enter the record number to delete. If the record was not found, also an error message will be printed. That is also the error in opening the file. File not found. Yeah, I think that's it about the functionalities, the main functionalities of this program here. Now, another thing I'd like to highlight, we're using files here. We'll be using files. As you can see here, we've included some file stream. So we'll be dealing with files here to save the data, or the record will be saved in a file, not necessarily a text file, but we'll be dealing some other kind of files. Yeah, and another thing, we'll be using some serialization. Yes, we'll be using some serialization. So yeah, I think we are good to go. Now let's start here and explain now. So now, starting from here, we include our input output stream, we include our file stream, we include another library called stdlib using namespace standard. Then we have our global variable here, which is a record ID. It's global because I want it to be accessed everywhere. Then we start with our class, which is account query. Now, in this class, we have 4 data members, and we have some mutators here. Now, we have the account number, we have the first name, we have the last name, we have the total balance as our data members. And these are characters. It's array of characters. The account number can hold up to 20 characters. The first name 15 characters, last name 15 characters, and the float and the balance, which is the float amount, since we're dealing with amount. Now we have some default constructor, which we will be using it to initialize the data members. We have the read data, we have the show data, write record, we have the read record, search record, edit record, and delete record. Now we'll go to implementation of these functions here. Now, starting from with the constructor here, as you know that whenever you are implementing a function outside the class, you need the class name. You need the class name, the scope resolution operator, and the function name, which is the function name should always be the same as the one defined in the class. Now, as I said, that we will be using this constructor to initialize our data members. You see here we have initialized them, and you can see the account number is initialized to an asterisk, first name asterisk, last name to asterisk, and the balance to 0. Now we move on to our function, another function, read data. Now this one will be used to read the data. Now, whenever this function is called, it will ask the user to enter the number, account number, insert the account number, enter the first name, then set the first name, enter the last name, insert the last name, Then it asks for the balance, then enter the balance, then end the line. Now we move another function, show the data. We're using this one to read and use this one to show the data. Now this one, whenever it is called, it will print the record ID. Then it prints the, you can see here we pre-increment the IT. We pre-increment the IT. Now we pre-increment the IT. Why are we pre-incrementing the IT? It's because the record IT here was set to 0. Now before we start using it, we need to increment it by 1 so that we start at 1. So that the first record can be labeled as the IT for the first record can be 1, and so on. Now after printing the IT record, we print the account number, which is we print the account number. Then we print the first name. Here we print the first name. Then we print the last name. We print the last name. Then we move on to printing the total balance, the current balance, that is the total balance. Then we print just a line, this one here. Then it's just a design. Then we move on to another account here, which is the write record. Now here, now remember I said we'll be using files here. So as I said, we'll be using the files here. So here we have output stream, we have off stream, that is we're using the off stream to output, that is to write to a file. Now we have our object of type off stream. Now we're using this object to open the file, that is the record.bank. Now you know that this is another type of file. It could be a text file, but we're not using text files here since we're dealing with some we want this to be it's more like it's more like safer than the text file. Then we open it in binary mode and we append, that is if the file exists. You know, whenever we start the program, the file will not exist because it's just the beginning of the program, or just the first time we run the program. The file will not exist. Then the program will create one for you. Then it will check if there's anything that exists in the file. If nothing exists, it will just write. But if something already exists in the file, then we'll just append the file, that is update the file. Then we move on to read the data. That is, as I said, that we'll be using this function to read the data. Now you're calling it here so that the user can enter on the data, that is account number, first name, last name, and the balance. Then after the data, after the user enters the data, then we write to the file. Now you can see this one, we write to the file now. That is whatever the data that was entered, that is whatever the data that is here, it will be returned to that file, which is outputted to that file. Then when you want to print something to the console, you say cout, but since we want to write something to the file, now we say we use this object here, which is output file. Then we write it to that file. Now since we close the file and we open the file in read mode. Now want to read the file, and we read and write the file in binary mode. We open it in binary mode here. Now we seek that if the record exists in the file, then we get that record. Then we ask the user to enter the data to modify. Now then we call our function read, which asks the user to enter the data, and then we write the data that is saved in those data members, write it to that file. Then we move on to delete the record. Now we also need the record number so that the user can enter the record number to delete. Then since now here we're only dealing with an input stream here, so we only input stream, so we'll be reading from that file. So we check the record if it exists, then opening it in binary mode, and we check, also pre-check if the file exists. If the file does not exist, the error message is printed. Then we move on to checking the number of records here. We're checking the number of records in the file. Now, if there are no records there, then the error message will be printed. Then, otherwise, if there are records, I print the number of records, then ask the user to enter the record number to delete. Now, get the record. Then we have our file stream. We create another file now, which is called the temporal file. Now, this one will be used to copy the data from the original file, that is the bank file. That is the record file. We copy the file, the record. We copy the data from this record into this temporal file here. Now, the temporal file, we open it in binary mode, and we are writing to this file. We'll be writing to this file. Now, for int I, now which is copying the data here we're copying the data from this record into this temporal file here. And since we ask the user to enter the record number, when we reach that record number, that record will not be copied, will be skipped. Once you see this continue, means that whenever we reach that record number, say the user wanted to delete record 2, so first we'll go on record 1, first record 0, then we copy that, we go 1, then we copy that. Once we reach 2, that is, since the user wants to delete the record 2, once we reach there, we skip that record. That is continue, means skip. Then we go to record 3, copying. Then once we got all that, all the records in that file except record 2, then we delete our original record. After the record is deleted, we rename our temporal file into record file, which is this record. We rename this to this name. I hope it makes sense. Then first we closed our files here. You can see we close our file. Then you remove your bank record with the original data. Then the one with the copied data, which is the data except that record 2, which you wanted to delete. Then we rename it to record.bank here. Then we say again, go see out the record number, which is the record number wanted to delete is successfully deleted. Then we're moving to our main now to demonstrate the capabilities of our class. Here we have our account query, that is an object, Actually, I don't like as I mentioned earlier, that it is very important to name your variables in full names. So you could just name this one in full name. And then we have in choice here, which is a choice because we'll have a list of options to choose from. So we need to get that choice. Now, while true, that is, we'll keep on executing this until the user decides to close the program, or until the user decides to choose this option here. Now, we have the record ID we set to 0. Whenever we start here, we want the record to be set to 0. I'll show you why we have this record here. Now, we clear the screen first, and then we change the color. Then we print these options here. This is just a list of options to choose from. Now you see that the user wants to add the record, show the record, search the record, update the record, delete the record, or quit. Then we ask the user to choose the choice here. Now these things here, these characters, this means you know that this is a new line, this is a tab. So just so we get the choice now that the user will select. The user needs to get one here. She needs to choose one choice here, then enter that choice here. Then we clear the screen. Then we switch to the choice that the user enters. In case 1, that is when the user wants to write, we call this function here to write. Case 2, we call this function to read the record. Case 3, we call this function to search the record. Case 4, we edit the record. Case 5, we delete the record. Case 6, we exit. and default, that is if the user did not choose a or did not enter option any listed option here, that is you decide to enter 0 or 7 or any character other than the ones listed others those numbers listed here, then this message here will be printed. This is an error message. Then we pause the screen and return the 0. This here we're pausing the screen so that whenever the record is displayed, we want the system to pause so that the user can see the record, so that, because if you don't use this thing here, whenever you call this function, maybe let's say the read record, what will happen that the function will be called and it will display the record, but instantly the system will clear. Since it's a loop, this will be called and it will break. Once it breaks, it comes here and clear the screen. It will clear the screen, therefore you will not be able to see the record. But if you say system pause, it will print the record. It will print the record and wait for you to enter any key in order to continue. So let's run the program now and see how it goes. I'm just compiling and running. Wait, still. See, no errors, no warnings. Now we have our just wait. Let's wait. In the meantime, I don't know why it's taking so long, but yeah, let's just wait a little bit. My system is a bit down. Oh yeah, there it goes. So we have this landing page here, landing screen. Yeah, we have this screen now, which is this part here. Let me go to that part. Yeah, this one, which is this part here. So we have this part now. So as you can see, all those things, they make up this thing here. Now let's choose now. Maybe before we add the record, let's just show the record first and see what's in the record in the file. Now you can see error in opening file not found. As I said earlier, that if the file does not exist, you cannot show anything from a file that does not exist. So hence we see that error message here, error in opening the file not found. And another thing I want to show you, you said earlier that whenever you don't use this system.pause here, let me show you. Let me comment this part out. I want to show you something here. I want to show you something. Let's compile again and run. See, I've commented out this system pause here. Now let's see here. My PC is gonna take. Let's just wait a little bit. Oh yeah, there it is. Now, so now, yeah, let me show you. Since I've commented out this system.pause, let's show again the record. You see what is happening? You can see the error message, but in a split second, the program clears the screen. So in order to avoid that, that's why I've put the system.pause here, so we can pause the screen, so the screen can wait for the user to enter any key or to proceed. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's also taking so long. Yeah. Yes. Now let's add the record, or let me show other options here. Option 3, which is the search. Remember, our record is still empty, therefore we cannot search from empty record. Therefore, or generally, an error message should be printed because there's no record to search from. Let's see, error opening file record not found. So update, same thing. Delete, same error. So Let's add the record now. Let's add the record. Add the record. You see the color has changed from white to red now because of this where's the add record? Where's the read data now? Because of this color, system.color. I've used this thing to just change the color here. So yeah, now let's add the color. I'm just gonna enter some numbers here, random numbers. Let's enter the name here, say Keanu, enter last name, Peruma, balance, let's say 3.5, 3.6, okay. Then the record is set. Now we can show the record here, and then remember I said earlier that when you show the data, it should be printed in this format here. This format, that is the account, the record ID. There is a record ID. You can see that one there is a record. It's the only record that we have here, and the account name, the Rakeano, the last name, and the current balance. And then this is there are no records, means that we have reached the end of the file. There are no records or other records found. We only have this record here. Now let me add another record, or maybe delete this record anyway. Or let's search first. Let me add another record first. Just to have it. I'm just gonna enter in. Let's say Yamukela. Let's say the last name. Then the balance is 1.5. Now we have two records. Now let's see. You can see the record ID now. It's 2. This is the record number 2. This is the first record. This is the second record. And there are no other records besides the only 2 records we have. Now let me search again. Now let's go and search some record here. And you should always remember the record number then. So let's say you wanted to search the first record, which was the Keanu. So if the Keanu was the first record, let's search now. The first record is the Keanu, so the search is working. Now let's search let's go and update. Maybe delete. Let's delete the record here. Let's say we want to delete the second record, last record that we entered. Now record 2 successfully deleted. Now let's go and show. You can see there's no other record. You deleted the second record here, so only have this record. Now let me delete this and this record too. I wanna show you something. There's only one record, so we're just gonna have to go and then delete the first record. Now let's show again. No records found. You see now this error message is different from that one, because in the first time we ran the program, it said in error and open the file not found. But now the file do exist in the system, but there are no records in the file. Hence, you see that we have this data from the file. Then we say it says no records found, since there are no records found in the file, but the file do exist. So hence we have that error message there. So I think that's it for this. Oh, I wanted to show you. I almost forgot. I wanted to show you why I've initialized this record ID 20 here. Let me comment this record out, and then let me close this one and compile and recompile the program. I want to show you why I've done that. Then the reason we've done that. Let me show. I'm just gonna show you the first. Let's show first. There are no records. Let me add a record. Oh, the account number first. Just gonna enter. Then the first name. Just gonna go with Keanu. Perumal. Then the balance. Just gonna enter in the amount. Then if I show the record, you see we have the record ID is 1 here. But if I go on and show again this record here, let me show the record again. You see now we have a 2 here. If we keep on showing if we keep on showing the record while the program is running, you keep on, you see now the the record number is again incremented, which the record ID is incremented, which is not true, which is not right. So the only way to solve this is that you only have to show the record once. Then if you want to show the record again, you need to close the program and run it again. Then if you show, then it start from one. But now to solve that issue, we needed to say that whenever we start again from the option, then we initialize our record. Since the record ID is not recorded in the file, it only occurs during the runtime. So we only count the record during the printout. The record ID is not stored in the file. So that's why I need to initialize it here, so that whenever we start again from the choices, the record ID should always be set to 0. Now if you compile this program and run again, if you compile again and security. Now if you show again, VFC first, it's okay. Then let's show again, still 1. If you show again, still 1. So that's why we have initialized that. I've set that to 0 there. We are resetting the record ID there. So I think that's it for this program here. Now, one task I can give you, I want you to go and edit this program, so that whenever I delete the record, let me show the record here. We have this record. So I want you to go to edit the program, so that when I delete the record, you see it enter the record number to delete. We enter 1, then the record 1 successfully deleted. Now I want you to go and edit the program, so that whenever the user deletes the record that is deleted should be printed here. Instead of record 1 successfully deleted, I want you to go and print the record, that is the record, then list it and display that record. That is, it should display the account number, name, and don't all those things in the record. It should display them here and say that record is deleted. I think, yeah, that's a homework. I want you to do that. If you have any questions on that, just write just contact me in the comment section. I'll be glad to help. Yeah, and that's it for this tutorial. I hope everything makes sense now. So yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Ciao.